Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Well, as so often happens when I'm doing scratch building, I keep my eyes open when I'm looking at junk sites and junkyards and reclamation centres and so on. And on the weekend I was taking out the rubbish and I found a load of these. This is from bits of discarded plastic trays, and I've cut them all. I've cut them all up because I suddenly had a great idea that I could put them onto my interstellar spaceship, which you've seen before in one of my other videos, and it really does increase the detailing. So yes, I know that I said in my last video that I was going to be doing the mech, and I am going to be doing the mech, but this was just too good an opportunity to miss, picking up all this rubbish. I also found all this stuff from discarded electrical light fittings at work, and that's going to add detailing to my to the treadmill section. So yes, I've decided to spend a little bit of time adding this detailing to the ship, and then I'm going to paint it with primer, white primer this time, and see just how far I can take it on this particular case. But as I say, this is a prime example of when you're walking around, keep your eyes open because you never know what you might find. And this was they just came out of the blue, and I thought, my goodness, that looks fantastic for scratch building onto the ship, because they look like what are they, gantries, or bits of, when it's painted on, it look like a superstructure for the script for the ship itself, and it does. It adds a lot of detailing there. So yes, so that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to continue adding the detail, and when I'm finished, you'll have a look and see how the result has got on. Okay, onward and upward. Let's continue. Right, so I've continued to apply the blue detailing, and it's beginning to pop now very nicely. I'm going to paint it white, and then I'll get an overall idea of the shape. Of course, I haven't finished because there's lots more detailing to do, but I just wanted to connect all this blue detailing that I'd found, and to sort of see what the framework looked like. The back treadmill is now beginning to resemble a cross between that ship that we saw on Interstellar, with the sort of blocks sticking out of it, and a kind of incompleted space station. But I think it's looking quite realistic, and I think it will work in scale with the control deck here. If we can imagine figures sitting in the control deck, then I think the whole thing works in scale. I think we can imagine that this is a ship that they could all work in. Okay, so I'm going to now apply the white paint, and that will take me up to a position where I think I will stop for now, but very, very happy with that overall shape at the moment. So there's the ship with its first coat of white primer on it. The primer hasn't totally sunk into the blue. I'll have to put another coat on it, but you can see the overall shape and the overall idea and the texture, and I think now that's beginning to look a lot more realistic. Yeah, I'm quite happy with the overall look of that. As I say, still a long way to go, lots of puttying to do, lots of gaps and shapes to fill, but the superstructure is now beginning to really pop really nicely on that ship. I'll have to start working on the back end now, and what I'm going to do to fill up the back and get the motors looking more interesting. because I've got to put a lot more detailing on there. But no, happy with how that lucky find in the junk yard of all those bits of trays cut up and stuck on, and now giving a very, very interesting effect to the interplanetary research ship, as I'm calling it, a cross between the Discovery in 2001 and well, the ship that came from the film The Martian, and the ship that came from that film Interstellar. I don't know their names, but the overall design, yeah, it's beginning to pop really nicely. Happy with that. Let's see if I can turn off the lights at the back. Yeah, that's better. And you can see it now. The thing pops out a bit at you a bit better. Okay, I'm going to go on now to do the to work on the mech. I am going to work on the mech, bring that up to speed. But yeah, happy with that so far. As I say, got to work on other bits and pieces now, and I'll come back to the ship when I've got resourced more stuff for it. But that's how a ship grows, bit by bit, slowly and surely it starts to come together. So getting back to my mech, I have done more work on the cockpit by filling the gaps in between the for the windows. I think I'm going to leave the top parts of the windows empty, blank, because it's operating on on a planet or on an atmosphere, so it doesn't. Perhaps it doesn't actually. I don't know. I don't think I'll include the windows at the top, but I filled in the bottom there. Sorry, just getting it into focus there. So the as I say, I filled in the gaps around the transparency, and the whole thing should fit on quite nicely in here. Hang on a minute. I'll put it on in a second. Just a minute, and I'll show you. There you are. That's the cockpit completed and constructed. I'm going to leave the transparency off though, because I'm going to have to be working inside the cockpit itself, putting the figure in and painting it and so on. But that's the cockpit done, and as I say, that's going to go on top here, and I'll show you that like that. Well, that will fit like that on there once it's in position like that. I haven't fixed it into position yet, but that's the next step. So the next step will be showing you the cockpit fixed into position. Right, let's continue, and that's what I've done so far. So I've now attached the cockpit to the mech and stabilized the legs a little bit more, and yeah, now the mech really is beginning to take shape. I'm going to just show you the cockpit with the transparency on it, and yeah, that's the final shape. But as I said, I'm going to keep the transparency off for the moment because there's plenty of work of detailing inside the cockpit which I need to do. I'm then going to start working on the back. I've got this piece which is going to attach itself here, and then I've got another piece which is going to come across the back here like that. Whoops, you knocked the thing over. So yeah, so the whole thing, yeah, no, I don't think it's that unstable. It's fine. I think I'm fine. I think I'm fine. I just knocked it a little bit. Yes, so that's the overall shape. And as I say, I think it's in, yes, it is in the same scale as the other mech that I did. So we've got two mechs of virtually the same scale. Whether they live in the same universe or not is a different matter. But there you are. So there you are. That's the mech, really progressed now. and I'm happy with the shape. The rest of the week, the next post I do will be a continuation of this to see just how far we can get with it this week. But as I've said at the beginning, this is a large build. It's going to take a long time to complete because there's so much wires and little greeblies and motorizations that I want to put onto it. But the shape is there, as you can see. Happy with that. Yeah. Just to recap, that's what my interstellar spacecraft, planetary spacecraft, looks like. And I noticed that I was adding a bit too much weight to the front part, and I was a bit worried that it was going to start to sag. So I've actually I've reinforced the stand there with another bit of plastic which needs to be cut and shaped, but that will keep the whole ship more stable on the stand. And finally, I have taken the time also to redo the back of my flying ship, my airship, and I think that shape now at the back is much better. It gives the airship a better look aesthetically. So I'm happy with that. That's just how I've worked it back there, you see. So I've just reshaped that bit there. Okay, so it's quite a bit of work this weekend, but and as you can see, my workshop is filling up with models all over the place, and there's still so much more to do. Oh, I also finished off priming the scratch-built Millennium Falcon, but more of that later. I'll just leave you with that shot just to tantalize you. That's my scratch-built Millennium Falcon. Alright, I'll see you on the next post. Bye now.